Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative. This is a little bit of a late video, which I'm going to try and record and upload as quickly as I can, but this is key information so that there has been a relief package on debate for a long time. Democrats want it one way, Republicans want it the other way. If you want to figure out and find out all of the past debates, you can watch my videos or a bunch of other videos, but here's what I found reported by NPR as well as other news outlets. I'm going to be looking off of what they have here in their article. So Senate passes $2 trillion coronavirus relief package. Finally passed. And let's see, the Senate overwhelmingly approved a $2 trillion relief package Wednesday night designed to alleviate some of the worst effects of the swift economic downturn currently underway as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. Ahead of the 96-0, that is overwhelmingly, no detractors whatsoever, that's great. Ahead of the 96-0 vote, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell told lawmakers, "Our nation obviously is going through a kind of crisis that is a totally unprecedented in living memory." Very true. As of the evening of March 25th, there were 65,000 diagnosed cases of the highly contagious virus in the U.S. and more than 900 deaths. The legislation now before us is historic because it is meant to match a historic crisis, said Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. The plan marks the largest rescue package in American history. The legislation covers any array of programs, including direct payments to Americans, an aggressive expansion of unemployment insurance, billions of dollars in aid to large and small businesses, and a new wave of significant funding for the healthcare industry. That last one is key to me. Of course, everybody needs help because so many people are outside of work right now. It's really tough to see. And also small businesses are suffering because they can't make any money. Who knows how many loans they have out. It's just really tough to see. So that all is being handled. That's going to be great. But the healthcare industry is struggling. They can't even create enough tests to test people that don't have a heavy amount of symptoms and who are in pretty bad shape. So I would like to see what they have here. The agreement is an expansion of a Republican legislative proposal issued last week dubbed the CARES Act, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, to provide relief to virtually every rung of the U.S. economic ladder. And again, that means if you can bail out corporate businesses, you can bail out the individual. Both need to be done, can't be one or the other. The system has to be in place for the individual to thrive and vice versa. Among the deal's key provisions, the plan will rush financial assistance to Americans with direct checks to households in the middle class and in lower income levels, McConnell said. Previously, Republicans said this would amount to $1,200 to most American adults, among other payments. Now, I'm hopefully going to take a look here. Is that a one-time payment or is that monthly? If I had to guess, it was a one-time payment. An extended unemployment insurance program for laid-off workers that will allow for 4 months of full pay. Now that is really good. Was not expecting that. According to Schumer, rather than the usual 3 months for most. It will also raise the maximum unemployment insurance benefit by $600 per week. It will apply to traditional workers for small and large businesses, as well as those who are self-employed and workers in the gig economy. Okay, this has been one of those things. If you're an actor, if you work in that kind of media at all, those people are struggling so much. They have gone from having, castings and they go to work to nothing, and they have been worried so much. And I have so many friends out there who have been very worried about this. So specifically including them in this is great to hear, even if it is in the talking points. This was a key Democratic initiative, which Schumer dubbed unemployment insurance on steroids. More than $150 billion for the healthcare system, including funding for For hospitals, research, treatment, and the strategic national stockpile to raise supplies of ventilators, masks, and other equipment. Of that, $100 billion will go to hospitals and the health system, and $1 billion to the Indian Health Service. I'm not familiar with that last part there, but I'll have to do some more research on here. So, including all this, I'm trying to report on the news and give a little bit of my take on this. $150 billion to state and local governments to address spending shortages related to the coronavirus pandemic, and $350 billion in the form of loans for small businesses impacted by the pandemic. Some of these loans could be forgiven. So first, the loans that are given and that need to be paid back, I'm not sure what interest rate, if they would have any interest rate at all. That's interesting to see. But also, this was something that I saw reported on some of the debates going back and forth. Some of those loans could be forgiven. That would be really good. We'll see how many of those are forgiven and for whom exactly. But this is key to small businesses, so we'll see what exactly this means. Let's see if we can go down more. President Trump and top members of his administration gave their strong support to the bill Wednesday. We couldn't be more pleased with the unprecedented response from the Senate to protect American workers and American business in this situation. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin said at the daily White House Coronavirus Task Force briefing flanked by Trump, Vice President Pence, and others. Trump emphasized Wednesday that would immediately sign the bill once passed by both houses of Congress. A group of Senate Republicans, Lindsey Graham, Tim Scott, Ben Sasse, and Rick Scott, had voiced last-minute concern, saying the bill's unemployment assistance provisions allows jobless Americans to make more money under unemployment than if they were working normally. I know that was a huge hang-up, but if you saw my previous videos, this is one of those things where it's never going to find, like, you're either going to give up too much or give up too little. This is one of those things that needs to be passed now. You can pass something else later on if it's something in the short term, even though I do see this being effective for about 4 months. If this goes longer than that, and if we see more, just more negatives because of this pandemic, then you can revisit this. You can adjust the levels to where you see them fit, and giving as much money as you should or as little money as you should, depending on the situation. They were given a vote on an amendment to back the unemployment benefits, but the measure failed on the Senate floor Wednesday shortly before the bill's final passage. Earlier in the day, McConnell touted the bipartisan deal reached overnight to provide cash payments to Americans, help to struggling small businesses, and more resources to state and local governments, as well as hospitals. He also acknowledged it was only one part of the overall response needed. Nobody thinks legislation can end this coronavirus crisis, McConnell said on Wednesday. We cannot outlaw the virus, and no economic policy can fully end the hardship so long as the public health requires we put so much of our commerce on ice. I was talking about the slowed economy to halted economy across so many industries. This isn't even a stimulus package. It's emergency relief, and that's what this is. I think that's key because if you think of stimulus, that's because of economic factors that have been kind of caused by either a corporation or individual lacking, or it's just caused by one of those two things. In this case, it's caused by something totally outside of those two. So yeah, you're right. I think it would not be a stimulus package, and it's good not to word it as such. It is emergency relief. McConnell noted that much of the $2 trillion legislation is built on the proposal that Senate Republicans unveiled on Sunday, and he downplayed changes Democrats were touting. At this point, don't pat yourself on the back. It doesn't matter. You will have to make sure that this just goes through. We can talk about Democrats versus Republicans another time. He said he would leave it to others to decide whether the last few changes merited 3 days of delay in the face of worsening crisis. That's great. Don't mention it right now. Just get this done. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi acknowledged the House would not be able to pass the Senate bill by unanimous consent, a process she wanted to avoid, calling members back to the Capitol as more lawmakers are self-quarantining due to exposure to the virus. She said leaders pledged to give 24 hours notice ahead of the vote and said on CNN, "We can take a voice vote. If someone calls for a recorded vote, then we're prepared to go in that direction as well." House Republicans are strongly behind the measure, according to senior GOP leadership congressional source. So as we just continue on here, this new story here says everything has been passed. If you want to delve more into it, I will be making more videos about this, but this is huge. This is a gigantic step forward. It has run into some delays. You can say, hey, you can say who exactly this is to blame, but at this point, we need this emergency relief. And when I say me, I mean the people of America definitely need this. This is something that's been a long time coming and too long just sitting around being debated. And again, I know I'm not a politician in these things, and it's easier said than done for me to comment on all of this. It's just that I have always seen myself in politics, and when I do get the chance to comment when I'm doing this on these videos that I've been making more recently, it's something that I think that a lot of people do agree and see in my point of view. It's really great that this relief is on its way. When I have more information, I will let you guys know, but this is just the announcement that this is definitely solidified. And we'll read the headline again. Senate passes $2 trillion coronavirus relief package, $2 trillion. And again, this does go through basically everyone here. Hey there. Financial assistance to Americans and the health industry. Let's see. All right, so yes, let's read this again. Including direct payments to Americans, an aggressive expansion of unemployment insurance, billions of dollars in aid to large and small businesses, and a new wave of significant funding for the healthcare industry. That is key. That is basically the rundown of this. When I get more information, I will report it to you here. And of course, you can read these stories everywhere because this is world news. This is United States news. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. You can find me on Instagram at M8B9. You can email me at Matt8B9. And if you want to begin a dialogue between myself and yourself, or anybody else out there, leave in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you soon. Bye.